I'm a boss chick, yeah, I'm a boss lady. I be calling shots, I be getting money. I'm a boss chick, yeah, I'm a boss lady. I be calling shots, I be getting money.
Hello, welcome to I Look Good Naked podcast with Terri Javon
and Cas, Seeger's Beatles.
Hi.
Hi, Terri.
Hi. So as you can see, we are doing our podcast today from home. I'm at home and Cas is at home.
I am at home.
And we are doing this via Zoom.
Yeah.
Again, Melissa, you're supposed to get them to be a sponsor of ours. Or maybe I'll just stop saying their freaking name.
Yes.
Sponsor us. So never mind. We're not
we're doing it via a really cool app software.
Yeah, we're just doing this via an app
conference with people.
Yes, that is it. Well, thank you for joining us today. We have a very special guest, so we're going to get to that right after Cas gives us her quote of the day, and I give my woman in history of the day.
My quote today is by Charles Swindoll.
Are you sure?
Yes, sure. What has been said several times by several people, but we're going to give him for the way he said it. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. I will say it again. Mm-hmm. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. And I love it. I love that quote because it's just the more I have changed how I react to things.
That's right.
I have learned that other great, amazing things have opened up.
Yep. Because every reaction creates another action, creates another action.
Yep. And next thing you know, you got 10 years of your life feeling like a victim or feeling like a way because that's how you reacted to something that was just probably small.
And you could have reacted a completely different way. So think about it before you react. Very good, Cassandra. So I like it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to be more aware of how I'm reacting.
How you react to things. Yeah. It's very important.
It is. Okay. And I have a fantastic woman in history for today. Well, she's not history because she's made history, but she's still making history. Misty Copeland. Yay.
Still have history.
Yes, she is creating history still. Yes. Born September 10th, 1982 to present day. She's an American ballet dancer, stage performer, author, and celebrity spokesperson.
Oh.
The first African-American to be promoted to principal ballerina by the American Ballet Theater. I just wonder what that journey has been and what she deals with.
It's been challenging.
But you know what?
Crazy.
Maybe it hasn't. Maybe it hasn't.
Well, no, it has. I've heard her interviews, but yes.
So unlike most ballerinas, Copeland didn't start ballet training early. She began dancing at the age of 13.
Now that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Copeland rose above a difficult childhood to excel as a student and a ballerina. Recipient of many awards, including the Los Angeles Music Center Spotlight Award for Best Dancer in Southern California, the 2013 National Youth of the Year Ambassador by the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, and one of Glamour's Women of the Year for 2015. Authored books that empower children of color, including her 2015 book, Firebird. So she's had a very interesting and challenging life, like many of us have. And now she is a worldwide famous ballerina, and she's beautiful. And I've seen several photos of her and videos of her dancing. So she's just an amazing woman. And
oh my God.
We uplift Misty Copeland today. Yay, Misty. And she's beautiful.
Oh my God, she is beautiful. She got that wasn't she the first athlete to get an Under Armour? She became I think she was
I don't know if she was the first one.
She's sponsored by Under Armour, which paid more than her ballet career. Yep.
Nice.
So definitely
Making that money. Get that money, Misty Copeland.
maker.
Yes.
Paving the path for dancers and women athletes.
Yeah.
So I like
So she's an amazing woman. So we lift
Yep.
up Misty Copeland today, highlighting her. Thank you for being so amazing, Misty Copeland. And speaking of amazing women, we have one joining us in just a second. We'll be right back on I Look Good Naked podcast.
I'm a boss chick, yeah, I'm a boss lady. I be calling shots, I be getting money.
We are joined by a really good friend, actress, entrepreneur, fitness coach, life coach, just an all-around amazing friend and person, AJ Johnson.
Hey guys, good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm so glad to be here. I love
Hey.
Thank you, AJ. We've been trying to get AJ on the show for a minute now. She's a busy lady. You're busy.
Listen, it's what happens when you pray for increase. You just have to be ready when it gets delivered. That's, good Lord, we could start there. OMG.
Yes. Yes.
Mind blown. Mind blown.
You are a mind blower, actually. I'm not going to say what other. Stop, Terry. Just this is a nice podcast.
You're biased and you know it.
So AJ, so I've been knowing AJ for many years. I would say that we've always been super cool and everything, but I feel like I remember the moment in time in my life where we became closer and she became somebody that I really just leaned on and knew that she was a friend. During the time when I was going through my divorce, I was just like spastic. I was like, Cass, I was just like, on an emotional roller coaster. And AJ, I don't remember if I just called you or you saw me. This is probably what happened because this is so that she saw me out and she was like, "Are you okay?" It usually starts like that. And when she's looking you in your eyes and she's asking you if you're okay, you just automatically become raw. And I'm sure I just started bawling, like, "Yes, I'm okay." Like, no, you're not.
No, you're really not.
Well, this is what you're going to do. You're going to come to my house. And we're going to work out and we're going to talk. And that's what we did. I went to her house and AJ gets paid, a nice sum of money. People pay her to do this. And she just invited me to come to her house and work out at her space in her house. And it was absolutely a physical workout, but it was so much more. It was a mental workout and a spiritual workout that I needed. And she was like having me come, like, and you're going to come on Wednesday and then you're going to come on Friday. And then next week, this is our schedule. And she was just having me come and she was just like this light that I needed during that time. And that's kind of who she is. And that's what she does. And that's how she makes her living. And she's made her mark in the world. She's worked with several of my friends, who are her friends too. And so AJ, you want to just start with that and how'd you get into doing that? Because first she was an actress and then, we're all more than just that, but tell us how you got into that.
Well, I'm listening to you tell this story and it's really interesting because I'm hearing what we went through and I'm also paying attention to how life and the business has grown since then. Mm-hmm. And shifted and changed. But what I love that is testimony and confirmation for me and listening to you is that what hasn't changed is all that I built the work on. When you say to me, and again, we're friends now, when that moment happened, when I saw you out, we knew each other as most African-American actresses who are working in this business. We know each other. We've seen each other. We wave across the room. We hug and say, "I enjoyed you on. I'm a fan of yours." yeah, a lot of mutual friends that connect us even deeper than just the work, but we had never had one-on-one time. We had never talked.
Right.
But back to your question, my soul has always been very discerning. And when I was at Spelman College, I realized that because it was my first time, and I got to Spelman early. I was early placement at Spelman, so I was 16 when I got to college. And
Oh, wow.
Exactly. And it was early on. And let me back up even further than that. And I have all brothers. So I had never really had a lot of time around a lot of women. I had never really had a lot of time around African-American women. So I was raw when I got to Spelman and was around all these amazing, dynamic, smart, some world travelers, some broken. I mean, you know, it's a plethora and a rainbow of African-American women. And I was so excited to be amongst them and to befriend them that my soul was just open to, you know, who I was, who people, who they could give me. And that's what the Spelman Sisterhood was foundation in. Our first days at school, they tell you as a freshman, you know, this is a sisterhood that will last you a lifetime. Shake hands with the girl next to you, hug the girl next to you. These are your new sisters for life. So I took that to heart. Fast forward, when I get to Hollywood and I'm meeting all these, another level of dynamic, fabulous women, there's something in the way called that's preventing us from being these sisters that I was raised on.
There was something.
So I'm looking around Hollywood like there was something there was something in the way called the entertainment industry that prevented us from being sisters. So what I mean by that is there's a sign-in sheet in an audition that allows us to see we're competing against each other for this one role. You know, that starts it off. No one wants to be friends with someone that can possibly take their job. You know, my dad used to say, when you're starving, nobody wants to see you eat. Nobody wants to watch somebody eat spaghetti when you're starving. Right. It's the same thing, you know? So that's where that started. And then the fact that, you know, the industry is built to say to us as African-American women period, but back then it was, there's 1 or 2 jobs a year for us. Out of the 500 women, who's gonna get it? So I found at the time, I wasn't building friendships. I wasn't building the sisterhood that I thought was what women did. You know, now that I'm 22, I'm in Hollywood, I'm an aspiring actress. I'm looking for the same level of sisterhood that I was raised on at Spelman College in Atlanta. And I'm getting the opposite. I'm getting no conversation. I'm getting fake. I'm getting, and so finally I said, you know, I'm not happy. Part of my not happy as an actress was foundation in that. I was more interested in the relationships and the camaraderie and hopefully building projects together. And you know, again, I was raised at Spelman. You've got all these amazing intellectual women coming together to change the world. So to me, I was like, hey, it should be the same thing in entertainment. And I was floored, disappointed, hurt. It was almost like I found like there was no, I was 6 years old finding out there was no Santa Claus, to find the lack of spiritual connection with women. And so I finally said, I'm not happy and I've got to really identify what makes me happy. And I made a list of 10 things. You know, the number one thing on it, to be honest, was I need better, solid friendships, sisterhood, relationships. And so then I looked at the list and said, now what can I do to accumulate these things? So for one side of the list was what makes you happy. The other side was, well, what do I do? What am I accountable for? What can I do to make these things happen? So I said, well, I'm going to be more of the friend that I want. I'm going to be more of the woman that I want to attract. And so that meant I had to be open. I had to be honest. I had to be transparent. I had to be authentic. I had to be giving. I had to be selfless. And so once I decided her, the spiritual discernment got even wider. So when I could run into someone like you, Terri, who I didn't really know that well, I could see you. I could see your soul. I could see your heart. And I was honest and pure enough in my soul to reach out to your soul and say, hey, are you okay? And I think that's what made you, and that's what has created the business for people say, you know, you walk up to somebody and they start crying. I believe more than it's a business, it's that my soul reaches out to other soul. Difference in that. There's no judgment in that. There's no, there's a pure innocence in a love in that. And next thing you know, other celebrities said, I want to live in that zone because I see what it does. I see it makes you eat healthier. I see it makes you clear-minded. I see you're happier. I see there's just something about you. There's a lightness of spirit. And so Tisha Campbell Martin is the one that said, that's that AJ zone. That's that zone this bitch lives in. And so she's the one who named the company.
Oh, nice.
I didn't ask for a business. I didn't ask for a business. I didn't ask for a company. I just wanted more sisters. And next thing you know, magazines started calling, TV shows started making offers, corporations started calling, executives, celebrities. I mean, the phone started ringing, and I just said, okay. So then I had to develop a staff and other coaches. So it became a business. And so now here we are. And now it's becoming a franchise. Didn't ask for any of that. Just the fact that I feel like people felt like I did, and they're looking for a connection. They're looking for the real, they're looking for the support. And what you're watching with me and the AJ Zone as my company is what happens when you offer it.
That's right. And what I love about that whole thing is because usually women, I hear stories of women who say, oh, I don't have any female friends. It's hard. Females they don't jive with me. And you could have easily done that stepping into Hollywood and feeling how the vibe was and not feeling like, where's this connection? You could have been like, yeah, I'm good on them. And just,
Right.
went into your own zone, focusing on you and you being healthy and not caring about making a connection. But you actually put it in place that you are going to make a connection. So what can you do? Instead of pointing the finger at everybody else, you took it upon yourself to make the connection and make us around you make a connection with you.
Right.
And,
But,
I love that.
I have to be honest and say, Terry, I actually tried to say, bump them. Like, that's
Right.
them. They got issues.
Right.
I'm who I am. I'm out here trying to be an actress. I'm not out here trying to make friends. It is what it is. You know what I mean? It's like, good luck, boo. It's either your role or mine. Like, I tried to be her. I did. And it just was not authentic to who
Right. It's not you. That's not who you are. Right.
No.
And what's funny is it's effortless. And I think when you are authentic to who you are, it's effortless. Like it's because it's not a job. Like everything you're saying, then like you said, I didn't go after a job. I wasn't like, ooh, let me build this life brand business.
Right.
It wasn't that. It just happened organically because you were being your authentic self. And I think that's what's missing with so many people. They just aren't being that authentic self. So there's always a buffer. There's always a thing that they're combating. And then there comes the challenges.
People, it's interesting. As much as I love, people now as they've watched me grow and evolve in this, there's people who will say, can you mentor me? Or do you have advice? I'm trying to be in healthy living and fitness too, or I want to be a life coach, or I want to be, and I know they probably think I'm putting them off, but the first thing I say is, honestly, it happens so organically for me. Yeah. I don't necessarily even know how to tell you how to be it. This is just who I am. And the business came because of who I am. Right. My healthy living routine, I lost both parents to cancer. My mom, when I first got to Spelman at 16, and I was a drama major then, I switched over to psychology and chemistry because I had the academic wherewithal and the fear for my health, to be honest. I switched over as an artist major to a science major, really just trying to look for answers as to what the freak happened. Right. And so as I researched and learned, it's all about how you eat. It's all about the physical activity you maintain. It's about the energy you allow and don't allow. It's about the stress level that you do not tolerate in your life. All of that is responsible for all of these diseases that are taking us over. I just decided early on, I'm going to live that as a lifestyle. And so when I made the decision who I wanted to be, it started to attract like-minded, like-spirited people who wanted the same. And so when I tell people, it's not like I said, hey, I want to be a life coach because I'm bored with acting. And that's not what happened. I just said, I have to live who I am a little bit louder for me to be happy. Mm-hmm. And so that's what happened.
Nice. So if you, advice or tips that people can actually do in their daily life to make steps to having this healthy living, mentally, physically,
Man.
and spiritually? Like,
Well, I say this all the time, and I honestly think I have to say it all the time because people don't believe me. And
mm-hmm,
so sometimes I go, oh, do I have to say it again? And God goes, yeah, you do. You have to keep saying it. And what that is it starts in the spirit. It's, the decisions to be your true authentic self, my true authentic self, the decision to be the happy that I want to be starts in my spiritual nourishment. And that has to be every single day.
mm-hmm.
I don't care. I mean, yes, we're in entertainment, but, God has blessed me with, as I said, clientele from all walks of life, from corporations to record executives to TV and film executives to the everyday non-celebrity woman on our website. So what I find we all have in common is we don't understand that it takes work to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something you have to wake up every morning and decide, I am going to drink more water today. I was bad yesterday. I know how important water is. I poof it off because I can, but I know that my body needs it. My mind needs it. My overall well-being needs it. I'm going to do better with my water today. What is going to govern my spirit today? I cannot walk out this door and let the girl who sits next to me at the office, or the director who I don't really get along with, or the coworker I can't stand, whether it's on set or behind the counter. I don't care what you do in life. You have to have some type of anchor on a daily basis that helps you focus, that gives you direction, that gives you guidance on a daily basis. And when I say on a daily basis, I keep saying that because that's the work I do. I have spiritual books. I have music I listen to. I have people I talk to on a daily basis. I have, my system, my spiritual system is I pick a word a day and I focus on that word that I feel like I've decided that whatever word I pick, that's God's assignment for me. That's the
Did you pick a
to
word
work on
today?
every day.
I
did not, because I wanted to do it with you guys.
Okay.
So I want to do it before we do. I wanted to do it with you guys. But I pick a word and say, okay, this is what I have to work on today. And sometimes I do it twice a day because, the devil is real. And sometimes what you do to anchor yourself in the morning, it's gone by lunchtime. And
Right.
that's real. So you have to keep that workflow going on. Who am I supposed to be? What is my best self? What does it require? I mean, I'm asking myself that all day, every day. I run up against people I don't like. I run up against people driving, flipping me the bird, cutting me off, being ill perceived,
Right.
Friends who I thought were friends all of a sudden show themselves to not be the friend I thought. I mean, we all go through that. And I just try to find, okay, I understand there's lessons in all of it. What is the lesson for me? What am I supposed to be learning from this? And how can I do it with grace?
Mm-hmm.
How can I not let it seep in? Because to me, as soon as I decide to let the grace go, now it's stress. And I think that's something God just gave me that to share. It's either of grace or it's of stress. And you have to decide, do I want to move in grace or do I want to move in stress? Woo!
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I just constantly feel like I look better. I feel better. I'm happier when I'm doing the work to move in grace. Is it easy? Hell no.
Mm-hmm.
But is it worth it? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Moving grace or moving stress. I love that. When you said grace, I was like, oh, that's such a great word. Like when you said the word, I was like, that's such a great word. Moving grace.
I have a very close girlfriend that was diagnosed in October with stage 4 cancer. And she called me and said, I'm going to need your help. I'm going to need your support in every level. And I said, this is some new territory for me. Not necessarily the disease, but with such a close friend. And I hadn't really been that close to cancer since losing both my parents. Oh, I'm getting choked up talking about it. And I remember our first conversation. And I said to her, we have to decide to handle this in grace, no matter what God ordains. We've got to decide to move in grace with the doctors, because stress is a killer. We can't battle cancer stressing out.
That's
right. You know what I mean? Over whatever he says every other day, or, the hardships with chemo. We can't stress. We have to find the joy and the grace in why this is brought to your life as a lesson. And long story short, that was October. And now, no surgery, very limited chemo, changes in life, deciding to live in grace. She's 90% in remission.
Whoa,
Wow.
praise God.
Yeah.
And got diagnosed in October. That to me, the testimony is it's the power of receiving the lesson of how do I let go of whatever's not serving me and move forward in grace. I don't care if it's the marriage that you're trying to live through that ain't really working. Let that shit go. You know, family issues, you know, well, I got to talk to my mother every Sunday. No, you don't. It's killing you. Tell her you'll talk to her every other Sunday.
Right.
You know, make these new rules and these new agreements that benefit your overall healthy lifestyle. And I just want to tell all of us, give yourself permission to make those changes. It's the drastic changes that cause the spiritual disruption, and the spiritual disruption causes the growth. You feel me on that?
Yeah.
You know, we cannot run from the spiritual disruptions. You got to dive into that, get comfortable in that discomfort. Go ahead and dive into that spiritual disruption, because that's where you're going to flower. That's where you're going to blossom. That's just how God works.
I love that testimony about your friend and fighting cancer, because if that is the grace and mercy and result of something so deadly as cancer, just imagine the other stuff that people are walking around with that they're carrying that's also killing them. But it's not a disease, but it is a disease. It just comes from making the choice to not live in that stress, to live in grace, to find things to be thankful for in the moment, shifting up your mind.
Right.
And people,
we've been talking about that. Oh, go ahead, AJ.
No. I was just going to say, you know, so many people will respond, whether it's on Instagram or on the website, or even just when they see me at the airport or out in the streets in Atlanta. You know, Terry, you know, we hang out, people will stop and talk to us. And I find it really, really interesting that so many people say, but how? You know, how do I discover what really makes me happy? Like, what am I not doing right? And I have to just say, I believe personally, that's what happens when you allow so much unhappy to run your life.
Right.
That you forget what happy feels like.
Yeah.
And to me, happy is just the pure, innocent joy that comes from the simple things. It's not about the latest bag you have. It's not about, you know, the man who's buying, you know, sending you on trips. It's not about the frivolous, materialistic things, which still give us a smile. I get that. But for me, those things don't make me feel joy down deep. Those things don't make me cry.
They're just
those
endorphins. It's an endorphin rush. All those things are endorphin
for
rush.
me, you know, and I feel like and I feel like even these kind of conversations, you know, have the right friends and the right people around you, that these are your conversations. I don't even know what's going on in Real Housewives. I don't know. I don't even know. Somebody said, hey, you know, I don't even know. You know, I don't know. Somebody said, girl,
those conversations, because nobody on this line knows.
No,
it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to me. I can't have it in my space. I subscribe to that. If it does not feel good to me, it cannot be in my space. Period.
And that's what happy is defined by. And we all, as women, have to make that kind of decision. Terry, like you said, it's got to be a choice. You know, I choose to have these kind of conversations. This is what fuels me. This is what pushes me forward. This is what makes me better. Now, I can have conversations about Real Housewives. I can have conversations about, you know, LeBron coming to the Lakers. I can have conversations about, you know, who's dating who. But that doesn't push me forward. And so that's why I don't do it. I choose the conversations. There's that word again. I choose the conversations that fuel me and push me forward. They just happen to be these kind.
Yep. And you're right, because every time I see you, these are the kinds of conversations
I love
we
it.
find ourselves in.
I love it.
Time.
I love it. But you know what? I love that you are active. Like, I think that's the thing. People aren't they're reacting. They're reacting to everything that's happening to them instead of being the charge, being the activator and making things happen to them. And I think that is, and it is hard. It's a lot of forces around. Even Terry and I in our business, we had to grow and learn that we have to stop reacting to all of the negative and all of the fact that we are women, the fact that we are dreamers, the fact that we are this, and we were reacting to that instead of taking that and making the change and making everyone else act to what we were doing. It's kind of changing that mindset where you are the agent.
And you know what? Can I add one thing to that?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, and you hear the phone blowing up, and here's the thing, and I'm just gonna fuel this. You know, I work 7 days a week. That phone is one of probably either Tiffany, my girlfriend I was talking about, or a client saying they're late or whatever it is. But the that 7 days, I have to find the time to decompress, you know, to reboot, and now in the summers, you know, after we close down on Sundays at 12 noon, and I don't do anything else but go to the beach and sit most of the time by myself, just to clear my head, clear my spirit, because I know, again, the beach is my happy place. So I know what it takes to clear me and to reboot me and to refuel me. What I was going to say is we don't know ourselves to even do that. Now, the three of us are having this conversation because we do the work. You know, we are of that cycle. To increase our army, we have to say, and I encourage all of us women, you have to do the work to know who you are, to know what makes you happy. As you said, to know what doesn't fit in your space, to stop allowing what doesn't fit in your space. And what I wanted to add was, and do it with an urgency. You know, God gave me, and I have to be honest, you know, God gave me an urgency when I lost my parents, because I was too afraid of death to say, I'll do it tomorrow. And, you know, I'll go to the doctor tomorrow. And I'll stop eating so much sugar tomorrow, or maybe next week. Oh, that's too much. That's too hard. For me, you know, losing my parents, it, you know, pushed an urgency in me that never left. You know, a lot of people thought, oh, well, you know, you're in a mourning process and you're in a life development process. And once you get to where, you know, you feel like you're going to be comfortable and you understand, you know, it's not necessarily your destiny, you know, to die of cancer or whatever your fear is, you'll relax. And I never did. I never did. I did work through the fear. I did push through the life altercations, but the urgency of living life never left. And I think that's the other thing. Everyone says, oh my God, your energy, what are you on? What are you taking? Yeah. And I said, I'm on a high of, Terry's like, yeah. It's living life with an urgency. Stop waiting, you know, stop waiting. Stop waiting on someone else. Stop waiting on somebody else.
That's the word today. That's it. That's the word today.
Stop waiting.
Stop waiting. Go now.
Stop waiting.
What are you waiting for?
Stop waiting.
Oh, I love that.
Right?
Everybody that's listening, stop waiting. And you already know what you're waiting for, what you keep saying later. No, now. Stop waiting.
Right.
Go right now.
Yeah. Stop
as
waiting.
soon as the podcast's over. Then go.
Right.
Wait.
No more waiting. Hashtag no more waiting.
Yes, I love that.
Waiting. I'm going to do that today. I'm going to put that up today. That's it. That's going to be on my hashtag. Yep.
And now what we do is we don't just say it and forget what we said in another 3 hours. You know, what you do, and I love what you said, it's being actionary, not reactionary. You know, I even make lists of, you know, I'm a list girl, Terry, you know my whole thing, and I do this with clients. Make a list. I'm a list.
I'm a list everywhere.
Right. See, I make a list even for my self-work. The list today is, what can I do to be active in not waiting?
Yeah.
So the first thing I think is, let me tell my girls, you starting with you two, help me to not wait. Help me be accountable and not waiting. When you hear me say, yeah, well, I didn't, you jump on me. Well, girl, why not? Because you said no more waiting. So how come you didn't do it? What's in the way? And that's the love and honesty that sisterhood is built on. I just think the other thing is, you know, we have got to be more supportive through love and through truth and honesty. I mean, Terry, you know, we just sat down recently together, and, you know, we hadn't seen each other in a long time, face to face. And I love that, again, skipping no beat. You know, I got teary-eyed, Terry got teary-eyed. We both said things are great, but things aren't freaking great. Like, there's some things that aren't great. And I mean, if you can't be honest with your girl, if I'm calling you my girl, you know, if I can't be honest like that, and I call it a safety net, you know, I don't even want to say girlfriends. I want to say my safety net. If I can't jump or fall and know you got me.
That's right.
As you said, you can't be in my space.
Yeah.
That's right.
And just because I say hi and I'm nice don't mean I fuck with you. Period. Right. So just know that I can be nice. I can say hi. But in order to be my girl, my girl, you got to be my safety net and know that you got a safety net in me.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. AJ, speaking about that and being girls and the safety net, recently, I know you wanted to talk about uh, Gabrielle is a friend of yours and someone that you've been, you know, a life coach for and all that. And recently she was on Jada's show, The Red Table. Is that right?
Yes.
Right? The Red Table.
Red Table Talk.
Red
Red
Table.
Table. Yeah.
And some stuff came out and your name came up in the interview. So what do you feel, I mean, like, why did that come up between them? I mean, this is something that was like so old at the table. If you can just talk about that, because I know you said that you've been getting a lot of response, like people have been blowing you up after that conversation. So do you want to tap on that a little bit?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I'll be honest with you. I don't know their relationship enough to know why it came up. But what I think is really more important is that a lot of people don't realize that particular work that I did with Gabrielle, that she spoke of in terms of helping her release the inner bully in her and helping her gain more self-confidence so that she could, as he's already said, she could switch her mind frame from, you know, I've got to blow out your candle to make mine brighter type of lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
The
because
work that
we feel like that's what stops a lot of women from loving each other. It's the stuff that's going on within themselves. It has nothing to do with the other women out there.
Absolutely.
It has, yeah.
Or no one in the world. Yeah.
Great point. Which is why I say, you know, dive into the self-work on a daily basis. Because when you do that, you're so busy working on your best self, you ain't for what she's doing, what she's not doing. You ain't got time.
You don't even notice it.
Yep.
You don't even notice it. You don't even
at
notice
all.
It. Yep.
You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, girl, you just old." I'm like, no, I'm just not interested. There's a difference. You know what I mean? Now ask me about, you know, the latest muscle foam roller, and you know, and I'll be like, okay, there's 5 different ones that just came out. I mean, again, it depends on what you're interested in, right? But Terri, you come up with a great point. I mean, it's 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, what's going on within us.
Right.
And I feel like even as I look over my life, trying to be the better supportive sisterhood friend is why that hasn't been a part of my life. And I'm going to say that, you know, I'm asking everybody who's part of this podcast, you know, us included, you know, review your life, review your last week for God's sake, and look at how many altercations with women you're either dealing with or you've gotten in. And if it's over 2, you have work to do. Wow. God just gave me that one. You know, if it's over 2 female generated altercations about anything, again, at work, in your family, in your friendships, big, small, it doesn't matter. Don't excuse the altercation because it's not huge. You don't have to not be speaking for it to be an altercation. It can be a small disagreement. But if you have more than 2, you have work to do. And what is that work? You know,
I was about to ask you that. What is that work? So that's, I think, where it stops people. Because sometimes people know that they have problems. They're like, yeah, I know I messed up. And it's almost like they accept it. So if they decide they want to do the work.
That's funny, Cass. I love that you said that.
Point. Like, they accept it. And
the people around them start to accept it. They're like, oh, that's just how she is.
Absolutely. Because
and
I mean,
like,
I speak for myself. I know I dealt with selfishness for the longest time. And my kids and my marriage made me, just by kids being who they are, force themselves out of it. But for the longest, I was just like, I'm selfish. It's fine. I can be selfish. It's just who I am. And it's still a battle now, but the battle is now I notice it. I notice my behavior, and then I try to work around it, or I get myself out of my comfort zone where I'm just more selfless. But it was a decision I knew I had to make in order to save my marriage and my family.
Amen.
But a lot of people don't do that because they just start to accept it. So what are some of the steps once you realize, okay, this is how I am? What do I do now? Because I know I battled with that.
I'm going to go back to, and I sound possibly corny or cliche-ish, but this is why I wanted to do your podcast, because going back to Gabrielle and Jada, it's the work that I did with Gabrielle that she spoke of. It's the work I do with a lot of the clients. It's the work I do on myself. And that is, you have to first believe and claim that you look better naked.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Take off all the bullshit. Take it
Right.
off.
Right.
Take off who you think you're supposed to be. Take that mask off, take off the ideas that that were given to you by your parents when you were little, by your
Yes.
teachers, by the people who raised you in church when you were little, that no longer serve you. Take it off. Take off those masks and be your true naked self. And that is where I feel like the truth and the honesty comes out. I mean, if you think of it that way, that's really what you did. You finally said, listen, this selfish thing is not getting me anywhere.
It doesn't serve me anymore. Right.
It's not serving you.
My life changed. And so the things I would go back and say, well, I wish it was like that. This is the way I was. It was like we live in this past moment of when we were 20 or when we had this body or when we had the freedom, whatever the thing is that we held at such high regard. And we try to bring that into the new things in our life, and they don't serve you anymore, like you said. But then if we're still trying to hold on to them, then that's the pretenses that we all create in our world.
I even want to break down, not only do I agree with you,
break it down,
line with you on that. Well, what I was going to say is I want to break down even for women who don't understand what we mean when we say, if it doesn't serve you. See, remember, we're having conversations based on who we are individually and collectively. And because we have done the work on ourselves and now come together in friendship and sisterhood, this is the level of conversation we're having. Well, in order to encourage and to extend the invitation for more women to have this kind of conversation, we have to be willing to be open and honest enough to say, okay, here are the freaking steps. Like, what does it mean to say what doesn't serve you? That means what's not working in your life. What's not working? And and what's not working, breaking it down even more, what's not working means, is it pushing you forward? Is it making you smile bigger? Is it making you laugh louder? Is it improving your health report? Is it improving your credit score? Is it whatever you decide is your improvement measure?
That goal,
Yeah, which is why, a lot of people say, Dag, I can't believe you said to Gab, and she talks about it all the time, when she was down in somebody in a room, and I said, so how did that make you better? You just tore her down. I need to understand how that made you better, because times I've done that, it didn't make me better. It didn't do anything for me. So maybe I'm missing something to down talk somebody. Maybe you got the secret. What did it do to help you? And she said nothing. I was like, yeah, me either. So why do we do that? So, I mean, it's the same thing with us. It's like whatever's not fueling you, whatever's not pushing you forward means it's not serving you. So if the relationship is not making you a better woman, if it's not making you, have given you a higher self-esteem, if you don't leave if you don't leave someone's presence, and I don't care what it is, your life partner, your marriage, your relationship, friendship, I don't care. Again, your family, if you don't leave the presence of that person feeling uplifted, like you can fly higher than you did before you said, hey, eye to eye, it's not serving you.
That's a good wake-up call. That's a good wake-up call. Because I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, so what do I do? So now, I'm going through my mental checklist. Like, what do I do? So you know what I do? And most of you already know this, that know me and are my friends, is that I like to be liked. So I'm always, trying to show up for people, please people, but it doesn't always make me feel good, to do that, because it's not reciprocated. So I'm gonna stop that shit. You're right.
And you know what? And let me help you stop it. Okay?
Yeah, please.
Here we go. So here's a couple of things I want you to do. Okay. And this is where we get to the transparency and the pureness and being actionary and not reactionary. I want you to pick 3 to 5 friends and go to them and say, what do you like about me? Find out. Because I guarantee, I know, look at your nose. You switched up like, but again, find out why they're in your life. Because that's going to build your self-confidence as to who you are in other people's lives away from your own perception. So your perception is that, you're not doing enough, or, you're not, which is why you're like me. No, when you're doing enough, when you're the shit in somebody's life, when you're loving, when you're giving, when you're selfless, then, you're going to attract those kind of people. So you already know what has you as friends. You see what I mean? So if you're feeling that way, it may be, I'm suggesting, it may be because you don't really know. So I say,
And the funny
go
thing
find
is,
out.
my friends, I don't, there's comfort. I'm up here trying to please people that I know are not my friends.
Right.
That's the problem, I think. Okay, I know. Don't look at me like that. I'm done. It's over. It's done.
Yeah, well, see,
I mean, I'm
another
better
session.
now, but I'm much better than I used to.
Because those who you know, like, yeah, you don't try to please your friends. You're very, because we know that, Terry. But I do see when Terry switches, and we're together so much. I see when she changes, and I'm like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? She's like, I don't know. And I'm like, don't do that. You don't have to smile. You don't have to smile like this. Because it's not, but I know you like to smile, but I know when it's not.
And I like to laugh.
But you know what I mean? So I don't know. But it's definitely, but you've come a long way, my friend.
Well, I have
one
more thing. I have one more thing that I feel like this could be, and this is for all of us as well. But Terry, this just came on my spirit for you.
Okay.
You know, once again, you know, those of us in entertainment, especially on camera, we have gained recognition. We have gained popularity by pretending. That's what actors. That's what we do. We pretend. You know, that's what we do. We pretend for a living. So because we get rewarded financially, popularity, you know, for pretending, no one really gets to know our true naked self. And so when it's time to be the real Terry, like it used to happen with me, when it's time to be the real AJ, it's like, well, you know, I know you fell in love with Shireen from House Party and Wannabe Boy, but honestly, I was just acting. You know, I'm a completely white and Fairhaven, ritzy ass, Jewish-based New Jersey. You know, I'm dual degree. Like, I don't know nothing about their life, but I've researched it and I'm acting. But if you want to meet her, okay. But I'm really the nerd that wants to talk about, you know, what's going on with global warming. Right. So, you know, again, it's like I had to get comfortable with this is who I really am. This naked self without all the masks on is really more attractive, really more interesting. Why don't you get to know her? And I became her on a daily basis. There's that word again, daily doing the work. I became more comfortable being her.
Yeah.
But is that hard to become more comfortable being her when the world loves you as someone else?
Well, okay, I love that. Whoa, that's a good question.
That's a good one.
Because that's just, I mean, when you said that, I'm like, man, I see the dichotomy that most people may not even have to deal with.
It has to be such a deeply, I'm going to get choked up again. It has to be such a deeply rooted desire and choice that you don't care what other people think. You know, I was so unhappy just acting that I didn't care, you know, whether I was famous or rich or invited to the party, because when I had all those things, I was miserable. And so it got to a point where I was like, okay, what's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is I stay where I freaking am and I'm miserable pretending to be happy. What's the best that can happen is I try to see what really makes me happy and I am really truly freaking happy. Okay, what do I have to fucking lose? Nothing. Because I already know this life, I'm not happy. I'm miserable. I'm famous, I'm rich, but I'm fucking miserable. So I already know this life. So let me at least try one day of being the nerd that I am. Let me at least try tomorrow to have the real conversation that I'm interested in. Let me try one more day to laugh at the fact that I'm not technical savvy at all, but put together a chemical equation and I'll tell you the ingredients and make your head spin. Like I just decided one day at a time to be so comfortable with who I was that I didn't hide her. And over time, people were like, wow, she's pretty dope. She's pretty dope. Yes, yes. And here's the interesting thing though. A lot of my friends changed. My friendship circle changed. My work environment changed. And that's what I'm saying. The more I was my authentic self, the more shift that happened. But every shift, I get chills. Every shift was for the better me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which
Every
makes
single
for
day.
which
Right,
is
because the
only
universe
beneficial to
takes
the
care
world.
of you when
Yeah.
you are aligned with the universe. It will
Yeah.
take care of you.
Yeah.
Period. It will
Yeah.
take
You gotta
care of you. It
trust
will
that.
cover you. And you have to trust that.
Yeah.
And that's a big, I think that's another key word. I mean, I love urgency and I love no more wait, but trust. I mean, you have to trust that. And a lot of people don't trust the outcome. They don't trust, well, if I just start being this, then I'll lose this. Or what if I just start, like, they don't trust that if they just line up with authenticity, it will be what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that feels good. And I do feel good in that space. That's true. Whew.
Yeah.
And you're more usable for the universe. You know, then God can really use you. He can't use you if you're not being your authentic self. And the way that he will use you is so much bigger than you could ever imagine in your small little fake world.
Or little pocket.
And I'm
In
serious.
this small little fake world.
Yeah, he can't
But,
even
you know,
see you. He can't even see you to use you.
Yeah.
No. And I'm gonna say, listen, I've been happy a long time. Do I have valleys? Yes, that's not what I'm saying. But in terms of living my authentic self, it's
That's
been a long time. And you see, it still chokes me up talking about the times when I wasn't happy. So I know that people are living in that space. I know it. You know, I wouldn't have a business if everybody was telling the truth about how happy they were. So, you know, I have a business based on the life choices I've made because there's so many people who are trying to say, okay, I'm going to admit it. I'm not happy. That's hard. And you were asking, you know, yes, it's painful. It's not painless. But, you know, again, you know, in order for a rock to become a diamond, it's got to go through fire.
That's right.
Yeah,
So it's the same thing with us. It's just you have to believe and trust. I said before, you know, you have to believe and trust that the fire is not there to burn you. It's there to polish you.
That's right.
I say that to myself still. I say that to myself at least once a day because when you're on the rise, there's going to be fire. When you're on the rise, just know it. You talking about trust? Trust that. There's going to be some fire. There's going to be some fire. There's going to be some devil that wants to burn you out. But what you have to realize is the true fire is there to polish you. It's not there to burn you. It's not there to turn you to ashes. It's there to polish you and keep going. Push through it. God brings you to it, but you got to help push through it. And every time I've done that, it's a testimony, y'all. Every time I've pushed, I'm better on the other side. Yes. Better on the other side every single time.
Yep. AJ, this is so good. I could talk to you forever.
I know. And I hate that we're not in. Listen, we should do this every Sunday brunch. I mean it. I mean it. But this is what it feels like to have real girlfriends and a real sisterhood, you know? And I just believe that for every person that has asked for help and that God has blessed me to help, there's always been such a positive outcome in terms of them finding better, you know, and they become friends. That's the other thing. I'm kind of pimping you guys as clients because you really just become my friends. So that's my little backdoor way of getting close. But
we all serve each other.
Yes, we all serve each other. I love it.
So AJ, can you give out your information of where people can contact you, follow you, all that?
Yeah. Following me directly is on Instagram and on Twitter. It's at the AJ Zone. The AJZone.com is the actual website for the company. And the company is also on Facebook, the AJ Zone. So, you know, you're spoiled because we're friends and we talk.
I'm super spoiled.
But you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be. But what I love about you being spoiled is saying, so AJ helps her friends. And I'm like, wait. Don't tell everybody that. Because everybody will start emailing like, hey, girl, can you help me?
I just said you help me. I didn't say nothing else. That's all I said.
But listen. But that's the blessing in it. Yeah. That's the blessing in it. That people see our connection and our chemistry and our love and they want some. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing that we get inundated with emails of AJ, can you help me? But the AJ Zone is the company that does this work. And even if I'm not available personally, there's other people in the company that are. But you know, with social media, it's easy to find the AJZone.com, at the AJ Zone, Twitter and Instagram, and the AJ Zone on Facebook.
Yep. And you can find me at Terry J. Vaughn, Cass at Cass Seegers Beatles.
No, Cas
And
Seegers.
oh,
Just Cas Seegers. Yeah. On Instagram, I'm at Cas
uh-huh.
Seegers. It's kind of right. It's right. It's Facebook. Well, who does that? I don't know who still does Facebook, but Facebook is Cas.
Facebook.
I mean, I don't know.
Facebook.
I can't keep up with all, again, I'm always slow with everything. I can't, there's all so many platforms, but yes, at Cas Seegers on Instagram and Twitter, and at Nina Holiday, ENT.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Before we go, can I do a quick wrap up?
Of course, please do.
And it's just, it's just
please.
a reminder, just our words, because, we've talked about so many things, and I want everybody to really focus on our words. And so our words, and help me, because we're all part of this.
Mm-hmm.
I know we said, I'm going to go backwards because it's recent. Trust.
Mm-hmm.
We said, no more waiting.
No more waiting. Urgency. No
and
more
grace.
Now.
Grace.
And grace.
Golly, grace. I want to add one more, just so we have 5 words. And this is just how I have to end because it's what I'm living right now. Increase.
Hallelujah.
Mm-hmm.
I shifted my prayer life from praying for certain things, specifically like more money. God, please bring me a relationship, a healthy one. Please bring me more work, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And nothing happened. Nothing happened. It was like, I kept, how you check your phone when you're waiting for a call to see if it's still on? I was like, God, are you still there? Like, are you kidding me? Nothing. And then a girlfriend, got a lover from when I was 16, we're still friends to this day, checking in with me, being accountable. She said, AJ, what's your prayer life? And I said, well, I'm praying for this, I'm praying for that. And I said, okay. She said, okay. She said, I have a suggestion. Switch over to praying for increase. Just pray for increase, because it covers everything and it gets feelings off of what you're asking for. So you're right. We pray for money, but what we're thinking is, I just want to pay my bills this month. I want to get that new car. And that's all you get.
That's right.
As opposed to, because God is up there going, oh, really? That's all you wanted? Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'll answer your prayer. Right. Oh, that's all you wanted? That's, you just wanted to pay your rent? I had a mansion for you, but if you just want to pay your rent, that's cool too.
Right.
You're right. So I started praying for increase. And when I tell you, not only am I trying to catch all of it, I'm now praying for the stamina. I actually posted this on Instagram. I'm praying for the stamina, the courage, the stillness to not only acknowledge it all as him in my life, but also to manage it all.
Right.
So we're talking about, just did a movie, more clients. I got an animated TV series, voiceover, never even thought about it. Animated TV series, doing a voiceover, a franchise, a business that's franchising and growing before the doors even open. I mean, stuff that can be God. You hear me?
That's right.
Stuff that can only be. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So, current testimony, which is just shift. That could be the holdup. Take the ceiling off of what you're praying for and shift your prayer. So shift is the word.
Shift.
Yeah.
Well, you heard it first here on I Look Good Naked podcast with our good friend, AJ Johnson. I love you so much. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you.
Episode of I Look Good Naked podcast.
Thank you, AJ.
I love you, AJ.
Love you guys. See you soon.
You. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm a boss chick, yeah, I'm a boss lady. I be calling shots, I be getting money. I'm a boss chick, yeah, I'm a boss lady. I be calling shots, I be getting money.